Straight out to my producer, Josie Cruz. You spoke to the father. What was his explanation for how this got out of hand? And as you speak, I want to show the house because this lady kind of looks a little bit put together. She's distraught, but the house is perfect. It's they could mow the lawn. The house is all clean and perfect. But what was going on behind closed doors, the toxic secrets are extraordinary, Josie.
Jane, when I talked at length with Brad Thill yesterday, obviously he didn't want to do anything on camera. He referred everything to his lawyer. But he said that he was met with a horrible nightmare. It was something he didn't even imagine was going on. He says that when he came home in April, that he was all of a sudden met with investigators asking him questions about what was going on over the past year. I also actually spoke to a neighbor who said she witnessed some of this abuse. She was actually friends with Leslie, and she said that when she would go over to their house, the way Leslie actually disciplined some of her kids was a little questionable. She said that she used very military-style treatments, very doing push-ups, running until you couldn't breathe anymore, carrying in large buckets of water. She'd make these kids do this over and over and over. And sometimes she said she would sit on her porch and hear nothing but screams.
If you ever see that, call the police. If you ever see that. But that was the least of it. That was the icing of the cake. That was the appetizer. I'm talking about locking kids allegedly in a toolbox, a 37-inch toolbox, and making them breathe through a straw. How could this not have been noticed? They were becoming emaciated, that there was something wrong when cops say these kids were literally skin and bones. Listen to this.
My ex-wife stated to me that one of the children was forcing himself to vomit up his food, and they would not sleep for days on end.
Wendy Walsh, psychologist. Oh, the kids are forcing themselves to throw up. That's why they're so thin. Are you kidding me?
It's amazing that he fell for it. And the other interesting thing about this case, Jane, is obviously the psychological torture and the emotional abuse that these kids were under. Because by the time their age, 13 and 14, as these were, they would have been or could have been bigger and stronger than her. But no, she manipulated them psychologically. She kept them physically small and thin so they didn't think they could dominate her. But I'm telling you, 13 and 14-year-old boys could easily have overcome her if they had the mental abilities to do it, but she ensured they weren't strong enough.